Hello, guys, and welcome back to the wrap up for the 21st of February 2020. Again, if you're new to the series, essentially what we do is we're using the backtester that Trade Ideas has, along with statistical analysis and technical analysis to kind of build a portfolio that is then traded for a week. And then close down at the end of the week, and we're kind of posting the results, and then we do it again, right? So a pretty straightforward series, something we've been doing for a long time now, and I'm very excited about. It's one of my trading strategies, not certainly my entire trading strategy, but it's one that I am enjoying more and more as I get kind of more and more busy in my life. And that was essentially the reason behind it, was to find something that, it would help out with people who are working at the same time they're trying to trade. They're trying to come up with a strategy that's not going to take a whole lot of time, but with enough work and hopefully enough energy put behind it, hopefully beat the market. So this week was an interesting week in the market. We kind of started off strongish. We've been kind of chopping around up here for a while with a lot of indecision candles we talked a little bit about last week, and those indecision candles kind of resolved in, I guess, both directions. So we first had a little kind of pop up here on Wednesday. The shortened week this week is something important to note. It was only a 4-day week instead of a 5-day week. So this initial pop-up after just another choppy day kind of got everybody excited and ready to go. And then from there, we had this really long leg doji you can see happen right here on Thursday, which is a very weird candle if you kind of look at it in the grand scheme of things. Not something we see too often. And then we gapped down today and we started to sell a bit lower, closing right below my short-term moving average here. Again, I don't believe there's any power in these moving averages, just something to note. So again, we are well above this kind of primary trend line. We broke out from the 280, 300 area and just kind of went straight up. So, even a pullback into this area and then a push higher is still incredibly bullish action. So don't believe the naysayers and the world's coming to an end and until it actually is. So that being said, it was a busy week with our swing trading, and let me just bring over real quick. This is kind of the performance year to date of what we were looking at here. Again, I just program this in and say, this is what's with 100 shares, 200 shares, 300 shares, 400 shares, and you can see this is 500 shares. You can see this is kind of what would happen if you were trading this particular strategy with the size. So far so good. I don't expect this kind of this pattern to complete. It's not. There is nothing out there that just makes money hand over fist week over week. So we will get hit at some point. But that's the nature of the game. The whole thing's about risk management, and you just go from there. And if you look at this week, you can see that we had 3 winners and 5 losers. So again, it's all about letting these things work kind of when and if they're going to. So let's quickly go through what happened this week. Let's just sort this by how would I do it, like this and then like this? No, just trying to figure out how to. That's fine. Let's just go from the top to the bottom here. So APLE was a short trade. We were essentially just looking for this kind of bear flag here to continue lower, and we had a breakdown here on Friday, and then we just kind of chopped around. So a bit of a do-nothing trade there. ACM was kind of our breakout winner and made up the majority of this $3.80 profit, which is 300. I put 347 because that's what it was at close. So call it $350 per 100 shares traded for this week. We had a big kind of breakout of here. We were looking at this as a pullback into the gap and then a possible move higher. We triggered there and then it was off to the races. So those are the kind of trades you like, that they don't really offer any pain. On BCOR, we were hoping for the same thing, and we had a big kind of rally up here, and then it just reversed in our face. So a small loser there. NUS. NUS was, again, another do nothing, right? We were looking for these two candles to break down, and they did, and then we just chopped sideways here. So really nothing to talk about there. TAP, we were looking for this kind of big down candle and then a chop sideways to resolve lower. It did by a little bit, and then just, again, another do nothing there. AOS gap down. We were looking for this to bounce and continue lower, just wicked us in here and then just immediately reversed. So again, you can see more losers than winners here, but the winners were great. LK, we were looking at this kind of series of dojis right here. That was also a bit of a bull flag. We broke that. We looked like geniuses for a bit, and then we pulled back here. I actually took this in another account as well that I'm going to be holding for longer, just because I like the look of this so much. So my stop on that, my entry price is around here, and my stop is about the same right now. So Walmart was another good one as well. It gapped up here on Tuesday, and I was kind of lamenting that I thought we missed it. And then it pulled back here on Wednesday and got us in, and then popped higher. So again, all and all, it was a $3, and yeah, $3 over my other monitor, $3.47. So $350 ish per 100 shares traded. So this week we're looking at CMP. I'll start with the long CMP. Essentially, the theory is that we had this big strong push up, and then we've had this pull back in through here. And you can see a doji here yesterday, and then another doji here today. So I think if we break higher, this bull flag could continue to push up. ITCI had this really kind of long rounded bottom here, and you can see Thursday and Friday, again, this double doji type of setup right above our moving average, and again, this long push higher. This has almost a 12% short float, so if it gets going, it could pop for sure. PAGS, if you look down here on the weekly chart, at an area of resistance that it hit here, here, and here, but we've been having higher lows throughout here as well. So we see 1 and 2 big bottoming tails happening here, kind of showing me that every time it's pulled back here, there's been someone waiting to catch it. So the hope is that person continues to push it higher, whoever that is. Last on the long side is PTLA. Look at the short float on this thing. It's 30.39 short float. So big kind of falling wedge here. And these have a pretty good statistical chance. I think they've been studied, and it's about 67% win rate. And win rate defining as filling this here. So the kind of the widest part of the triangle would be extended up here. And again, a big short float, so if this thing gets going, but it is a pharmaceutical name, so be careful with that. Really do like the look of it if it holds here. You have to be careful with these ones. VRSK, so VRSK gap down here and then kind of ran back up to fill the gap all in one day and then sold off a bit. Then the next 2 days it put in these kind of sideways doji candles. So I think if this breaks lower, then all the people that kind of bought in here to buy that dip, they're underwater and in pain at that point. BCO was a gap down, came all the way back up. It's got the 200-day moving average and the short-term moving average and the low of this gap just all in this area. So a fair amount of potential resistance right here with a doji here and a doji here. So I think if we break down under those dojis, then we could continue lower. You guys notice that I really pay attention to these these types of indecision candles that happen through here. It's just something that I really like as a trigger point. It's not the entire purpose behind the strategy, but it just shows me that there's somebody there that is fighting for that indecision. So Yelp here. It's a pretty weird looking chart. So we had this big run up right here, and then it gapped down, and then it ran up entirely to meet that, and then it started to sell off again. So there's a huge amount of indecision just in this area. So my kind of bet here is that with this inverted hammer, that if we break down under this area, right, so we have a engulfing here to the long side, which is weird, and then a gap down, and then as we rallied today, we were just met with sellers. And it's important to note this is all happening right at the 200-day moving average. So again, my bet is under this, maybe everybody here who's been buying this up just gives way, and that those create sellers. Last but not least is Target, which gapped down here on earnings, I do believe, and then rallied up, and then it's just kind of been coiling back over. So it's kind of met resistance right at the beginning of the gap. So I think if this continues lower, it's potential short there. So that is what I'm watching for this week. I apologize that there wasn't really any other kind of videos this week. I got busy with some trade ideas consulting type stuff. So what I'm going to be doing is uploading another one for a live swing trade for next week. And I'm actually going to try to capture how I day trade, because how I day trade is really more of a swing trading style now as well, where I can set everything up the night before and have it auto traded for me. So some exciting stuff coming, and I'm just going to keep working on that, and I will talk to you guys next week.